I can feel the highway under my seat. Hey, sinners burning, I can feel the heat. Yeah, my dash is warm, but my top is down. Got my pedal to the metal for higher ground. When I get to the crossroads, I won't act the father of lies, no. I'll ask the four angels, step inside, take a ride to the other side. Yeah, I broke down in Tennessee. Get back to Georgia seemed the death of me. But I was found by Elijah's hand. No promise of Baal would ruin his plan. There on that highway I was blinded by the light. Said the salvation was up ahead and sight. Knew it was right.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Bob on Bob's Blues and the News, coming to you directly from Atlanta, Georgia. Just off the cuff, giving you my 3 cents. That's a little tune I done did a while ago called Highway of Redemption. You can check it out on Spotify and all those streaming sites. I guess it's appropriate, very apropos, since it's, the day after Easter, and we're in the middle of Passover, if you're Jewish, and it's all about redemption, all about finding the way to the light. We got a lot going on in the world and in outer space. Hey, we got astronauts going around the moon right now, and you can see some pretty fantastic pictures of them out in space. I mean, this has had happening since many decades ago. We forgot about going to the moon. We landed. We had Apollo 13 and those missions, but man, that was a long time ago. I was 50 years ago or so. And thanks to Trump, we're going back to the moon. He has this vision like no other president. I mean, his vision is tremendous. And of course, we have Elon Musk, too, behind the scenes. He's got his own SpaceX that he's doing marvelous things with out in space. And these are very positive forces in the world. Yes, Trump is a very positive force in the world. Elon Musk is a very positive force in the world. What these men are doing, and people like them are doing, is creating a space for redemption. And we are definitely on a highway of redemption. I mean, the song couldn't be any more apropos. This is I'm not saying it's going to be always comfortable on this highway. There are going to be a lot of bumps in the road, There are going to be accidents, and people will get hurt. Even people get killed. You see what's going on in the wars in the world. There are a lot of wars going on. Of course, Trump says he's the big peacemaker, and he's already, brought peace, 8 conflicts, and now he's trying to bring peace in Iran. Of course, you still got Russia and Ukraine going on. But the vision is correct. And people who are against this vision, even though they see these men as being maybe a little weird in their personalities, both Trump and Musk, and maybe they don't act exactly the way you would want them to act, they are geniuses in their own right. And they're on the side of good. They're on the side of God. I mean, God is mentioned often, especially with Trump. Some woman just asked him, I just watched part of this news conference that he gave on TV. And of course, he was talking about how they had rescued these two pilots in the middle of Iran, and that it was awesome how they were able to actually get these guys back. And one of the messages, the first message, Hetzek, I believe, said that when he first could use his transponder, I guess it was the first pilot, and he, to tell everybody where he was, tell the good guys where he was so they can come and rescue him. His first message was, God is good. I mean, that is an indication, that's a very powerful indication that, yes, we are on the side of God. We say God a lot. Now, there's a religious, a theological difference between our concept of God, who is a God of light, a God of justice, a God of goodness, and this God that the jihadists worship, which is really not God, but some satanic force who they think maybe is God, but they perverted everything. So it's all about death, destruction, and darkness. When the good guys, whether they're Christians or Jewish, and even some Muslims who are Reformed, are more against the radical part of their religion, these are the people of light. And the battle lines are being drawn. It's obvious for anyone with any kind of sense, it doesn't let their feelings get in the way of it. I say that because I know really good people who, in some ways, think like I think, religiously, believing in God and stuff, yet they let their feelings get involved with their mind and don't use their mind well enough to really see the good from the bad. Even though they might be totally good and good souls. I'm talking to this one woman I know. I mean, she's like an angel in everything she does. But for politics, she's no clue. She doesn't like Trump. She doesn't like the way she's doing it. And she's very much on the left because she's very touchy-feely kind of person. So you can get very touchy-feely and fall into these traps. And if you start looking at the wrong sources on the news, like if you go to CNN, on these woke stations, and you only see this one perspective, you lose your sight, your vision on a spiritual level, and you don't see the cosmic forces at play. And so you have to realize that really we are on the highway of redemption, and it's like Star Wars. You had the evil empire and the good guys, Luke Walker and those people. They were on the side of light, and then you had the empire, which was on the side of dark, with Darth Vader, I mean, we're living like that now. I mean, we've seen it in the movies. We've seen these scenarios play out, different characters, different storylines, but basically the combat, the war, is the same kind of war, a cosmic war that plays out on Earth, and people get killed, and there's destruction, and there's mayhem, and there's all kinds of intrigues, and your head spins all the time if you follow this stuff like I do, and it makes you sort of anxious, A lot of people are anxious today because of everything that's going on in the world. I mean, then you have your own individual life, like you got to make a living, right? You got to make money. You got to put bread on the table. You got to do everything you can do to stay healthy, So you got your own individual cosmos, and then you got all this thing spinning around you, what's going on in the world and everywhere else. So I'm sure doctors dealing with a lot of anxiety, and I have to watch my anxiety because my blood pressure will get up. I want to stay healthy, so I have to take a deep breath, calm down. I'm saying this for everybody out there as well. You got to calm down, but you got to know what the war is about. You got to know who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. If you have any kind of confusion about who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, that's a big problem. And funny, I can't persuade these people who are on the left that you really are watching the wrong people. You listen to the wrong podcast. You're looking at the wrong TV station because, they don't want to hear it. They set in their ways, and to totally change their outlook, it's too drastic for them. They can't cope with it. You know what I mean? And they've always had this, I don't know, it's a mental block, and I really feel sorry for them. And now some people are just out and out evil. They're all about power. They're narcissistic. They can only think about themselves. I mean, you like this character like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I thought she was a good girl. I thought, well, she's a little strange because down in the South, and she had some redneck attitudes. But I thought she was basically a good Christian woman. But then she went on the dark side with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. And see, the extreme left and extreme right come together, It's like a horseshoe effect. And, the same kind of mentality. The extreme right is just as bad as the extreme left, but they're all on the dark side, It seems obvious to me, and I can't understand why some people who should know better don't see it. I don't know. Maybe it's the way they grew up. Maybe it's something their father said when they were a really young person, or a child, or, things affect you when you were very early in age, and sometimes it stays with you. I remember going to a certain group session called Landmark, where people would talk about what bugs them and why they're not progressing the way they should progress. Maybe they have hang-ups about certain things. And a lot of times it's usually because somebody said something bad to you when you were 3 years old and it stayed in your head, and you're never able to get past that. So they tried to, let everybody tell their story. Because when you were 3 years old and your mother said, you'll never grow up to be anything, and it stayed with you at 3 years old, and you couldn't overcome it, then that's why you're not as happy as you should be. That's part of it. But anyway, I'm getting far off field. I was talking politics, and now I got into psychology, but it's all related, Anyway, I'm back from Passover. I haven't done my podcast in the last 3 or 4 days because of Passover. So whether you celebrate, whatever you celebrate, I hope you have a good holiday. And we got 2 more days coming up, Wednesday and Thursday, which is the last 2 days of Passover here in the States. Well, it's different when you're in Israel. If you're Jew and you live in Israel, you don't celebrate as many holidays as you do when you're out of Israel. Now, there's a reason for that, because back in the day, they weren't sure when the holiday started because of the moon. So to make sure they had the right day, they celebrated 2 when you're outside of the land of Israel. But anyway, it's a little complicated. I don't want to get into it. But anyway, whatever you celebrate, enjoy your celebration and take a deep breath and enjoy being here on earth at a time when all these things are coming together, when it could be actually the end of time. It could be the time when the Messiah comes back. Who knows? But you have to give Trump a lot of... nobody has ever ruled on earth like Trump. He is so unique. He's funny. He's hilarious when he talks, but yet he does things that are mind-boggling, and he doesn't speak like a politician. He speaks like any guy you would meet sometimes in a bar and you're having a drink, and he said, if I was president, I'd do this. I wouldn't let him. He talks just like that when he's doing it in front of the press conference, And so tomorrow at 8:00 with Iran, if they don't make an agreement, he says he's going to bum totally back into the Stone Age, all their infrastructure. I mean, their plants, the bridges. He's already bummed the biggest bridge they had. As a sign, you better watch out, if he bums all their, facilities, all their energy plants, etc., and all the infrastructure, it'll take him 100 years to build back, So I don't think he really wants to do it because he wants the good people in Iran, the true Persians, the ones who are westernized in their head mentality and are against the mullahs and the jihadists. He wants them to eventually take over, so he doesn't want to totally destroy everything. But if he has to, if that's the only way he can win in the end, he'll do it. And of course, you have the Strait of Hormuz, which needs to be open. But it's funny how all these countries that used to be our friends don't want to help anymore. And our best friends right now are the moderate Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the UAE. It's funny, huh? I mean, it's weird. I mean, England doesn't want to help us. And that's what happened to NATO. Everything is topsy-turvy. Everything is changing. The alliances are changing. The whole dynamics, geopolitical structures are changing shape. We don't live in the same world today we did a year ago even. That's amazing. And things are changing rapidly, more and more so every day. And it makes it challenging, for an individual to put food on the table, take care of his family, when all these forces are at play. But you have to stay close to God. And I'm so glad that Trump believes he's on God's side. And he mentions God often. I mean, he could have gotten killed in Pennsylvania, right? The bullet passed his ear, but he's still here. So it must be a divine reason things are happening the way they're happening. So anyway, again, this is Bob. Bob's Blues in the News. Stay well, still healthy. Meditate a lot, pray a lot, think positive thoughts a lot. Because, good guys will win in the end, and we will be okay in the end. But it's interesting times, man. Really interesting times we live in. Love y'all. And I'll just continue with my Highway of Redemption tune on the way out. Talk to you soon. Take care.
No wind, but before it's too late, you should get your soul in shape. Still got room inside my car if you want to fly to the other side. Let's fly. By the light, said salvation was up ahead in sight. Knew it was right, shining through the night. I'm on the highway of redemption. There's no speed limit where I'm bound. I'm on a road that has no end. Before it's too late, you should get your soul in shape. Still got room inside my car if you want to fly to the other side.